My name is Holly Campbell. I'm from Horseheads, New York. I have a wonderful husband named Andy and a couple of kids, Ben and Alex, and also my son Jake.
My name is Kim Skadlock. I'm from Muscatine, Iowa.
My name's Nate Skadlock. We have 4 kids. One of them is Beckham.
Beckham was 2 weeks early and he was 8-11. The ultrasound showed a healthy, happy baby, and we didn't think anything different.
Everything was just the way we always thought it would be. We had our 2 kids and the house and the jobs, and things were great.
I heard a doctor outside, and he looked at both Nate and I, and he said, "Your baby has mitral valve and tricuspid valve stenosis." I go, "What are you saying? Is my baby gonna die?" And he goes, "It doesn't look good."
Jake was about 2.5 months old, and he stopped breathing in his bassinet. Sometimes it's easier to tell the story than others.
Every parent's worst nightmare.
It took a long time for the doctors to sit us down and finally talk to us, and when they did, they didn't see any brain activity whatsoever. Okay, let's do what we have to do and make some decisions.
They had to bag him and they had to give him oxygen, and they realized his only option would be a transplant.
And the first thing we said to the doctor was, "Can we look into organ donation?"
And they said, "We've actually already listed him."
When he came back to us, he said, "There's a little boy in Iowa. He's 2 weeks old, and he's a perfect match." And I thought, there's mom and dad going through what we've been going through, but they do have a glimmer of hope.
Beckham was 16 days old when we got the call that there was a heart available for him. And I just remember I jumped out of bed and screamed and cried, because you're so overjoyed with gratitude, but you're sad at the same time because you knew another family has lost a baby. The thought of someone else having to do that so our son could live was heartbreaking. And the cardiologist looked at us and he just said, "We have no control over if that child is going to pass away." He's like, "All we can ask is that we can take a tragedy and turn it into something beautiful."
So around January of that next year, Andy, he was having a bad day.
And I took what little information I knew and I put it into Google.
Baby boy, Iowa, heart transplant.
And within a few minutes, I was looking at a blog
That the family was keeping about their son.
What are the chances that it wasn't the same little boy?
We just kept watching the blog and looking for updates and thinking about writing a letter.
When Beckham was out about a year, I wrote them a thank you letter, and I blogged about the thank you letter.
So we knew we were getting this letter before the letter came. And of course, they did it the right way. They sent a fairly anonymous letter, and they sent it to their OPO, who sent it to our OPO, who then contacted us and asked if we wanted it. But the message from his parents to us as the donor family was the most breathtaking, amazing thing. We knew right away we wanted to write back. We signed a release and we told them everything, and
I immediately started to cry, because that's what I needed at that time. To hear that they wanted to be part of our family and meet us just was the most healing thing at that moment.
they were in touch with us almost immediately, and it has really made such a difference in getting us through. When we were in the hospital with Jake, we had some time to say goodbye.
Right after Beckham was taken out of surgery, I wanted so much to hold him, and I couldn't.
They were able to put him in our laps, and I sang him one last song
The only thing I could do maybe to comfort him, because he was in a lot of pain, was sing the song
called For Good, and it's from the musical Wicked.
For Good from Wicked.
When I looked at my son, I knew he had changed me for good. And the second verse has a line that says, "You'll be with me like a handprint on my heart." The transplant games were looking for people to perform, and then they asked me if I would sing at the opening ceremonies. So I called Beckham's mom and I said, Kim, I'm gonna sing this song at the opening ceremonies. And she said, oh my goodness, that's the song I sang to Beckham. It's the first song that she sang to him, and it was the last song I sang to Jake.
Beckham is now 8. He'll be 9 in August, and he's loving and sweet, and he loves his donor family.
Beckham has developed a great relationship with Ben and Alex, and he calls them his heart brothers.
We consider each other family. You know, we have a heart that connects us.
What people don't realize, in spite of the loss that we have gained more than we could have ever dreamed. It has been so comforting to us to know that a part of Jake lives on because of organ donation, which has been pretty cool.
Because I knew you